Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to Utility Jane. Today I'm making lasagna. We love lasagna. I cook this all the time because I love having a big meal in the fridge so that my family can go and just help themselves to a good feeling meal rather than picking and probably eating something that's not as filling. I would rather them go and have a proper meal. So I make this all the time. And like stews and casseroles and soups, lasagna only gets better with time in the fridge. But it is also a great meal that you can cut up and freeze, put in a lunchbox for taking to work, or have a large tray of it in the fridge. That is a quick and filling meal. Now, this is my take on lasagna. It is not a traditional lasagna. It is what we call lasagna, but I like to stretch out the meat and pack it full of vegetables. It is also a great way for getting heaps of vegetables into your diet, but also to stretch your dollar a bit further. Normally I would have pre-cooked my mince, but I'm starting from scratch with this. But I do have another way of saving time. When I have all these vegetables pre-chopped and in the freezer, it takes no time to get lasagna in the oven. Now, if you've got your mince pre-cooked as well, that saves a heap of time. And when I pre-cook the mince, I always add tomato and all the spices that we love. It makes a base that I can put into spaghetti, lasagna, and any kind of stew, a pie filling. If I have some idea of what I want to make ahead of time, then I will cook it that way that the spices are all in it. So when that sits in the fridge pre-cooked, all those flavors are marinating the meat, and then when you go to use it, it is so good. And you can also freeze that meat. I have frozen it before in bags or containers. A bag defrosts very fast so that on a night where you need to get dinner on the table, you get it out, you can put it in a dish of water, it will defrost fast. Your meat is cooked, you've got pre-chopped vegetables, all go in the pot, add some spices, add some more tomato, add any more fresh vegetables like the silver beet or rainbow chard, an onion, and a meal that is very filling and warming, especially this time of year, is on the table in no time. Now, I will say that if you are going to pre-chop onions, which I do, I buy up big on them if they are on special, you must double bag them because they will smell out your freezer. If not, put them in a sealed container so that everything in your freezer is not smelling like onions. Another way you can stretch out the meat is to add beans of some description, kidney beans, chickpeas, whatever you are liking, or sweet potato thickens that up and bulks it out. Even if you are not wanting meat at all, you want to have a vegetarian one, then you can use the sweet potato to bulk it out. Lots and lots of vegetables, root vegetables. And if you are pescatarian or you're wanting a different take on lasagna, I will often make it with tuna. 2 large cans of tuna replaces the beef mince in there. Obviously you can make it with any kind of mince. We often use beef mince. But to replace it with 2 cans of tuna is very delicious and a very quick and easy meal. Tuna is a great thing to have in your pantry. We have it as a staple. It can go into eggs. It goes with pasta and cheese really well for a quick pasta bake. Lots of different ways that you can use tuna, and it can sit in your pantry as a great backup getting close to grocery shopping day. Now, I remember back when I was learning to cook, a white sauce, a creamy white sauce or a cheesy creamy white sauce was something that used to scare me, but when you start making it and you make it just your own way, it takes the fear away and is very, very easy to make. This I make with olive oil. It just depends what I have on hand. I often use butter. You can use either. It just depends on your eating requirements or your diet requirements. So I don't have any downtime when I am cooking. I like to pre-organize the white sauce, put the oil in, put the spices in, put flour in, beat it all together and have it as a floury, oily mixture. And then I will come back after adding spices or what I need to add to the meat sauce, or come back and then cook it, because I think the main thing is that you don't leave it. I always use a whisk. I know lots of people use a wooden spoon. I like to use a whisk, and you stand there with it. So if you got it all the mixture pre-mixed, then you can come back when you know you have time and just get that done. Meanwhile, the pot of meat sauce can just sit there simmering. I don't like to overcook the veggies when they're in the pot. I cook them so that they have started to cook, because this all goes into a tray and then goes into the oven, because you want that top of the lasagna to be nice and toasted. It goes into the oven for about 45 minutes. I never usually time it. I just wait to see what it looks like on the top, and then you can get it out and let it sit for a little while the pasta that I put in is dry. It soaks up all the beautiful juices. So now I have my meat sauce simmering away in the background. I have got everything I need. I've got a jug of water there because I don't use milk. I use water. Everything's close at hand, and I can stir what I need to stir when it needs to be stirred. And like this, I'm adding tomato paste and getting that going, but also keeping an eye on the white sauce. I have the burner going, and it is at the moment just the flour. As you can see, the flour, the oil, which could be butter or olive oil, nutmeg, salt and pepper, some vegetable salt, all just in there. It's just starting to warm up, and you can see the change where it starts to thicken around the edge. I add water. This is not a precise thing. Often recipes make it way harder than it really has to be. And as you can see, I do not measure anything. So it is not a hard process. It is slowly warming that water. I will go back to getting that whisk, and because everything is close at hand, I can swap between the two, and as you can see, it is thickening up. I add a bit more water because I add cheese at the end. You don't need to add cheese if you do not eat cheese. You can leave it as this, but let the sauce be thicker. Don't add so much water. Now this is with the cheese. I often use it as a white sauce for vegetables. It's great to put over pasta bake. It's beautiful over cauliflower. So if you do have some left over, or if you want to make extra, you can always use it in a different way. I have not froze a white sauce, so I'm not sure about that, but I will often freeze leftover sauces. So as that cheese warms up and melts through, you end up with a beautiful creamy white sauce. And depending on the dried lasagna sheets you put on, it will depend on how much moisture is in the meat sauce and the white sauce. And like with all cooking, the more often you make it, you can see the different signs in how much liquid is in the sauces versus how much pasta. I never change how much pasta I use, So I can always, if I get to the end of the cooking process, add some more water if I think it's going to be too dry. But it's just tweaking those things at the end of your cooking process. And even now, sometimes lasagna will be runnier than other times, and I have made, I don't know, countless trays of lasagna, but it's all edible. It still tastes the same. It may be just a little runnier. And I think that if you can be open to having that, then you will enjoy cooking more. I know I do. Now is the time to taste your sauces and adjust the spices if you need to. I always end up adding salt and pepper. And just give those a good mix through. All the burners are off, and we are wanting to add a good thick layer of sauce at the bottom of our pan. Followed by the dried lasagna sheets. I overlap them just to make sure there is enough pasta in there. Cover with the white sauce. Add the meat sauce again. As you can see, there's a lot of liquid there, but the pasta will soak that up, making sure the layers of meat are nice and thick. And then I go back over with another row of pasta, overlapping again. And a little bit more meat sauce at the top, because I love to mix a bit of the tomato and the white sauce together and then top with cheese. Cheese is, of course, optional. It is always good to let it sit for a minute and then put it into the oven. Fruit crumble is a very quick and easy go-to dessert at our house. We often have them in the fridge, and it not only gets eaten for dessert, but often for breakfast. Just a few basic pantry staples, all mixed in together with a bit of butter and any kind of fruit. You can do it with rhubarb and apple. We have canned apple, and I have some leftover peaches that may as well get used, and I'll put them into the crumble as well. We've had mixes of apple and plum, apple and rhubarb, and just rhubarb sometimes, but it can be any kind of fruit that you enjoy. And if it is canned, then it makes it a really fast dessert. So I'm not going to add the juice from the peaches. I'm just going to stick those peaches in on top and get this very easy crumble topping on, which just consisted of flour, coconut sugar, rolled oats, coconut, and some butter. Now this crumble can go in the oven with the lasagna.